this week, we had talked about the possibility of in the offseason trading Quiddy Pay and bringing in Chase Young. And it seemed like most of us were on the same page where we would be fine if we could get a decent package for Quiddy Pay and we were able to move up in the draft with some of those picks. Then we'd be fine moving on and bringing in a guy like Chase Young. And the question here today is going to be whether or not we want to bring in Chase Young or whether you go with a more high price guy. That would be Josh Allen from the Jaguars. Defensive end that has been good his whole career, like since he came in to the NFL, right? You look at his rookie season, 44 tackles and had 10 and a half sacks as a rookie. Then his second season, due to injury, only ends up with 2.5 sacks. But then 2021, 2022, he has 7.5 sacks, 7 sacks. His tackle numbers have gone way up. He already has 45 tackles this season and has 13.5 sacks. Now, granted, 4 of those and a forced fumble came against the Colts, but he's been an absolute game wrecker this year. Again, 13.5 sacks. He also has an interception, got an interception against the Bengals. So he's a guy that can do it all. And we've talked about Chase Young plenty on this channel. We know the stats, we know what he brings, but the common thing with Chase Young is the injuries. And that's why he would be a cheaper guy to bring in, right? If you're looking at Chase Young and you're looking at Josh Allen and you're thinking, okay, so who should we bring in? Who should we pay to try to build while Anthony Richardson is on his rookie deal? And when you talk about this, like you have to take into account all the guys that we've talked about on this channel about who we need to pay, right? Grover Stewart, Michael Pittman Jr., Kenny Moore, Julian Blackmon, Zach Moss is a possibility. So there are plenty of guys already on this roster that need to get paid, which is going to take money away. And then if we sign one of the receivers we've talked about, that takes more money away. If we didn't sign a wide receiver in free agency, then you would be in a place where, yeah, you have plenty of money to go after a guy like Josh Allen, who's going to be a free agent. So in my opinion, with the way Alec Pierce has been stepping up and them having him do, real NFL wide receiver kinds of things rather than just go down the field. Although this last game, he took advantage of those deep shots, but they've been having him do different stuff, which has been great to see. He's been more involved. They talked about getting him more involved and they were able to do it. So with that happening, if we don't go, I think there's a good chance we don't go wide receiver in free agency. I think we could still draft one, but I think free agency might not be a place where we go for wide receivers. So if that's the case, then I think looking at a guy in free agency like Josh Allen would be valuable. And that's where I ask you, like, what would you rather do? Would you rather trade Quiddy and bring in Chase Young, who's going to be cheaper but might miss some games? Or would you rather keep Quiddy Pay and sign Josh Allen in free agency and roll super deep, or sign Josh Allen in free agency and still trade Quiddy Pay and get some draft capital, try to move up and get one of the top receivers in this draft? So I would like your opinion down in the comments. My opinion on this is that honestly, I would be, again, fine trading Quiddy Pay if it means we're going to bring in Josh Allen, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, to come in and be on the opposite side of Samson Ebukam for a couple years. We know that DeForest is going to be here at least next year. Grover Stewart, hopefully getting extended, going to be here a little while. Like, that defensive line would be absolutely insane. And we would be a team where if we're playing with a lead, we're probably the most dangerous team in the league at that point, right? Anthony Richardson and all the boys on offense that we know of, and then that defensive line going hunting, right? We haven't really seen that in Indianapolis since 98, 93. Bring the Heat Boulevard was rolling with Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney. So I'd be just fine, honestly, if we paid Josh Allen. Now, the price for that is going to be steep, right? You think about what that's going to cost. Right now, Nick Bosa, who just signed his contract this last offseason, is making $34 million a year as an edge rusher. 5 years, $170 million, with $88 million guaranteed at signing, and practical guaranteed is $122.5 million. Okay, the next closest under him in terms of annual value is Myles Garrett at $25 million. Montez Sweat just signed his contract in season with the Bears, $24.5 million. Max Crosby, $23.5 million. Then you go down just a little bit. and it's 21 million for Leonard Williams, 21 million for Trey Hendrickson, and 20 million for Von Miller. So, you're looking at Josh Allen making like $25 million a year, which is a lot, right? That's top wide receiver money. That's T. Higgins money, right? If T. Higgins is available, that's T. Higgins money. So, and maybe that's a would you rather that we might be doing. But for right now, if you're asking me, would I rather have Chase Young or Josh Allen? I'm saying go ahead, give me Josh Allen, a guy that we know is a great edge rusher. For as good as Chris Ballard is at drafting, especially on the defensive side of the ball, it seems those edge rushers, he just hasn't found one that's, a great edge rusher like Josh Allen. He hasn't found that type. Kwity Paye, again, we've talked about. Kwity Paye is great at what he does, but it's the inconsistency rushing the passer with Kwity Paye. He's great in the run game, just doesn't always get home in the pass game. But we know Josh Allen can. And we know he can do the other stuff. He's good in the run game. He's a great athlete. Josh Allen is a do-it-all kind of guy, just like TJ Watt. Those guys are just dominant. So I would love to have Josh Allen in the horseshoe, especially have Josh Allen going back into Jacksonville to finally help us win against Jacksonville in Jacksonville. That would be great. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how likely any of that is to happen. But again, the Colts are going to have money to spend. And if they don't go wide receiver in free agency, they might go ahead and try to make a move at defensive end, even though the Colts right now are second in the NFL in sacks. Right? They've done a good job this year. Now, granted, they're in the middle of the season. There were a couple of lean games where they weren't getting after the quarterback. It's more early in the season and what we've seen of late that have really piled the sacks up. But what we're seeing is good, but just imagine that it could be better. So that's what I'm thinking with the Josh Allen thing. I'd be totally down for that. Again, you let me know your thoughts on that down in the comment section. I would love to know what everybody else thinks about this. And again, we're going to have more Would You Rather coming up. There's still some more stuff I've been thinking about, some more stuff I want your guys' opinion on. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you get notified when those videos do come out. Practice reports are going to be coming out. I'll be getting those to you, day after this week, the day job. Got to do what I got to do. So Thursday practice report will be on Friday during the pregame preview, and then we'll do a final injury report on Saturday. So again, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you get notified when these videos do come out. And of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.